Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel and welcome to Series 12 of Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches. This series happens a few times a year, June, October, and March, I believe. And this is the sketch we're using today from Kelly Pyron. It is an exclusive sketch just for this series. And I am going to be using a couple of Lakeside photos. The family that I work for, they have friends with a lake house, and these photos were taken at the lake house overlooking the lake, and they've got pictures of each of the kids in these little chairs on the balcony. So I am documenting that. And in the other photo, the little girl is sitting in her dad's lap in the boat. You can't see them, but she is fully in her life vest and all that good stuff. So they're very conscientious and safe when they do these things. But I thought it would be fun to go ahead and document that. I chose these bright colors because she's wearing some bright colors in the photo. There's a lot of blue and some green and orange and red. And so I thought these would work well together. I was just going to use those top, or the three, the yellow, the striped, and the orange, but I needed something that would tie in the Simple Stories Lakeside collection because I have a few bits and bobs and odds and ends of that collection that I wanted to use with this because I don't really have a lot of lake photos myself, and so I thought they would be perfect for this. So I came across this Bow Bunny paper in my stash that has the trees, it has a lake on it, it has mountains, and it's got a little campfire which brings in the orange. So that really kind of tied things together. It's got several of the colors that are in that striped photo, the striped paper that has the pink and such. And then that photo has the yellow, which brings in the yellow stripes. And there is a little tiny bit of orange in that same horizontal striped paper that brings in the orange, which ties it to the orange in the campfire, and the blues all match as well. Now, I was going to use a pattern paper in the background, but I decided not to use it. I decided to use this blue scrap from my scrap bin just to go behind the photos. In the sketch, I'm not sure if there was a patterned paper in the background, but it looks like there's another piece of paper layered on top of that right below the photos. So that is what I am working with. I am keeping it pretty close to the original, mostly because, well, first of all, I really like the sketch, and I am going to be doing another companion page to this one where they're actually in the water. It's not really meant to be a double page layout, but it is a companion page, and I'll be doing that in a couple of days using the same papers, and I will be tying them both together because with this whole banner kind of a look. So anyway, I did have to cut this other piece of paper in half, not in half, but in two pieces so that it can span the different distance between the photos there. I just have a little bit, so I'm going to try and make that work. It works out okay because even if I wasn't in the sketch, but in the sketch, the paper behind the photos doesn't stick out on the right-hand side of the photos. But either way, you can easily hide that just by not having it stick out, even if it was sticking out on the sketch. You know, these sketches are really just a jumping off point to kind of get you started and moving in the right direction, maybe to inspire you in one way or another. You don't have to do everything that's on the sketch, but it should hopefully inspire you and get you started. So I'm going to go ahead and layer these 4 banners up. In fact, in the sketch, there's only 3 banners, but that's okay. Like I said, we don't have to be exact. And I really like the way that is looking. I like that it brings in the brown color. And now I'm going to go through this leftover pack of embellishments from Lakeside. I really want to bring in this frame because it's got the greens, the browns, it's got it says lake, cabin, and docks on that little directional sign. I also want to use this piece that says Life is Better Lakeside. I thought that would work really well since that's where they are. They're overlooking the lake in the photos. And then for a little added texture and some more brown, I'm going to bring in this corrugated paper, which has a huge, it's not really huge, but it's a larger size corrugation, if that's even a thing. The bumps on it are larger than what they would normally be in a cardboard box. So I am going to run that through my die cut machine, and you're going to see that happen here in a bit. Now, I did pull down that blue paper in the background so that there is room for the corrugated paper to show and not hide the blue paper completely. So here I am just running it through my die cutting machine to kind of flatten it out, and then I just use my thumbnail to kind of like pop up a few ridges so that it's not completely flat now. So we start out super bumpy, we make it really flat, and now I can kind of control how big the lumps are and how much dimension it ends up giving. Now this layout undoubtedly has a bit of dimension on it because the frame is made out of chipboard, and now I'm adding this piece of corrugated paper underneath, and so now it's even going to bump that the frame up higher. So now I'm going to need to use some foam underneath my banners because everything has a bit of dimension, and my banners are kind of like looking like they're lifted up at the bottom because of that corrugated paper. So by adding the foam, it doesn't look like I shoved a big wad of corrugated paper under it, which is really what I did. And now this photo on the left-hand side has to be popped up because it's on top of the banners, which are lifted up, which is on top of the corrugated paper. Yeah, it's a thing, you guys. You have to go with it. If you're going to lift up one thing, you're going to probably have to lift up more than one thing if you have layers going on your layout. So that's what it has become. So I added some foam underneath the photo there. I did have to trim the photo down just a tiny bit because the corners were sticking out a little bit. And then I'm going to add a little bit of glue. Now, this is not the normal way that I do this. I normally add my foam to the back of the photo, not to my base paper. And then I stick it all down with some liquid glue to the base paper. But in this case, it just worked backwards just because it was an afterthought, and I'm working backwards. And I didn't really feel like I could peel that foam up now that it's stuck on the paper. I don't know. It's what worked best for this one. Not my normal thing, but I'm making it work. Now I am also adding some foam underneath the bottom portion of this title because, again, it is popped up on to that frame, which has dimension to it because it is chipboard. So here we go. I am just playing around with this foam, trying to make sure that I have it underneath the areas that need support and not under the areas that are already supported by that frame, making it pop up even higher. So yeah, this one is a little bit on the thicker side, but it looks great, and I'm actually really happy with the way it turns out. So I'm not going to worry about it at all. I have some brown enamel dots from Gina Marie Designs, and I am going to use those to bring in a little bit more brown over here at the right hand side of the title, and then up in that upper left hand corner. As you can see there, I also added a small strip of that corrugated paper up in the upper left hand corner. In the sketch, she's got stitching up there, and I added a chipboard piece which has some faux stitching on it and a diagonal stripe with a couple of little camping or outdoorsy icons on it. And so I'm going to go ahead and leave that there instead of adding any stitching. I am also going to do a sketchy line all the way around my layout and around each of the pieces that are on the layout. So all of those banners and all of and the background paper all get this sketchy line. And I just did this on yesterday's layout as well, and I really like the way that it worked or looked. Now, mind you, I did not scrapbook these back to back. They were scrapbooked at different times on different days, with a couple of things scrapbooked in between. But I felt like this needed that little extra bit of contrast and detail. And because I am doing a companion page in a couple of days, which will be using the same papers, I want to use that same technique on the companion page to draw the two together even more. And so I think that'll work well. I am using a Muji 0.38 pen. The links to any products that are available will be down below for you in case you are interested in purchasing any. And I now have an Amazon affiliate if that is a place that you like to purchase from. It especially is nice for one-off products, so you may not have to pay shipping if you're a member. That is it, you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.